Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a literal game changer for commercial spaceflight, the historic July 18, 2026 launch of Skyroot Aerospace's Vikram-1. This is a monumental leap for India's indigenous aerospace tech. We're going to break down exactly how a startup managed to achieve what only superpowers used to do, the brilliant engineering hidden inside this rocket, and what this all means for the global space economy. So, how exactly does a startup pull this off? Going from zero to orbit is notoriously brutal. Well, this incredibly rapid journey was sparked by two former ISRO scientists, Pawan Kumar Chandana and Naga Bharath Dhaka. They left the Indian Space Research Organization back in 2018 with this wildly ambitious idea to build private rockets right in India. And fast forward just 8 years, they've done exactly that, completely disrupting the aerospace industry in the process. 15 minutes, that is all it took. Just a quarter of an hour after lifting off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, Vikram-1 successfully placed multiple customer payloads into a 450-kilometer low Earth orbit. Years and years of research, design, and relentless testing all culminated in this flawless 15-minute ascent. Here is the massive takeaway. The successful execution of Mission Egaman places India alongside only the United States and China in possessing private orbital launch capabilities. Just think about that for a second. For decades, space was this exclusive, highly guarded playground of massive government agencies. Now a private company out of Hyderabad has forcefully entered the chat, proving beyond a doubt that they can safely and effectively deploy commercial technology into orbit. Section 1. Mission Agaman, reaching orbit. What's absolutely fascinating is the sheer diversity of the payloads on this flight. You've got Skyroot's own internal scope satellite, sure, but there are also commercial satellites like Grahaya Space's Solaris S3, and even international clients like a tech demonstrator from Germany's D-Cubed. But my personal favorite? Cosmoserve Space's Embrace. It's this incredible robotic arm designed to literally catch space debris. So Vikram-1 is already acting as a highly reliable delivery truck for tech that's trying to keep our orbits clean. But it wasn't all just hard science and robotics up there. Alongside the tech, they packed some deeply symbolic artifacts. They flew an 18-karat gold micro-rocket honoring India's scientific pioneers, complete with these microscopic sculptures of C.V. Raman, Vikram Sarabhai, and A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. Plus, they included a floral-shaped artwork titled Cosmic Bloom. It just adds this really beautiful touch of humanity and national pride to the otherwise cold, unforgiving math of orbital mechanics. Section 2. Inside the Vikram-1 rocket. Let's talk engineering, starting right with the chassis. This is a 24-meter-tall airframe built entirely from carbon composites. By moving away from heavier metals, this cutting-edge indigenous material choice provides massive resistance to heat and vibration while drastically improving the rocket's overall performance. It's incredibly strong, stiff, and most importantly, it's light. Less weight in the structure means you can pack a lot more profitable payload into the nose cone with way less fuel. And that's exactly why this matters to the bottom line of the space economy. To actually get up there, they use a brilliantly designed 4-stage hybrid propulsion system. They rely on 3 solid fuel Kalam motors for the heavy lifting, punching through the thickest parts of the atmosphere. But for that final, super delicate orbital insertion, they switched to a highly precise, liquid-fueled Raman-Y upper stage. And this definitely wasn't guesswork. They nailed this through rigorous component testing, including full-duration static tests of the Kalam 100 stage long before liftoff. It's essentially the perfect marriage of brute force and surgical precision. And get this, Skyroot completely leveraged 3D-printed liquid engines. This supports lightning-fast manufacturing and gives them way more design flexibility. Instead of casting parts over months, they just print them. They paired this with advanced modular avionics and thrust vector control on the Kalam 250 stage. That basically means the rocket can literally steer its exhaust to provide real-time guidance during the flight. Section 3. Building India's private spacecraft. Now, a triumph like this doesn't just happen out of nowhere. The foundational confidence, the real proof of concept, came from the 2022 suborbital flight of Vikram-S under Mission Param. That launch was absolutely critical because it successfully validated the core science, the avionics, and the extreme aerodynamic pressures required for today's orbital mission. They had to prove their math in 2022 so they could make history in 2026. Scaling up to an orbital vehicle meant moving into their massive Infinity campus in Hyderabad. We are talking about a 200,000 square foot indigenous manufacturing hub. There are nearly 1,000 employees working around the clock in 3 shifts there. And their audacious goal? to mass produce these aerospace marvels at a rate of 1 rocket per month. I absolutely love this detail from the founders. Inside the factory, they use this giant industrial autoclave they affectionately call the Space Baker. It essentially acts as a massive pressure cooker to flawlessly cure the carbon composites, making the rocket uniquely resilient. Imagine having to bake a 24-meter-tall rocket to perfection just so it doesn't disintegrate at thousands of miles per hour. That is a regular Tuesday on this factory floor. 72 hours. Thanks to their highly modular architecture and this incredibly streamlined factory flow, Skyroot can entirely assemble and integrate a Vikram-1 rocket for launch in just 72 hours. That kind of rapid turnaround is virtually unheard of in traditional aerospace, and it's exactly the kind of agility that commercial satellite operators are absolutely begging for. Section 4. A trillion-dollar frontier. We are literally watching a massive paradigm shift unfold. We are moving away from an exclusive government-led domain with super long development cycles into a highly collaborative, agile era. Thanks to close public-private coordination with ISRO and Space under the Indian Space Policy 2023, a private enterprise like Skyroot can utilize government launch pads while driving commercial speed and innovation. This is huge because it frees up ISRO to focus on deep space and human spaceflight, while private companies handle the everyday commercial low Earth orbit deliveries. And investors are definitely reading the writing on the wall. This rapid success has attracted staggering financial fuel. Skyroot secured $150 million in funding over 12 rounds, bringing in major players like Sherpalo Ventures, GIC, and Temasek. That pushes them to a massive unicorn valuation of 10,600 crore rupees. The market is making it very clear. Low-cost, dedicated commercial launches are incredibly lucrative. Armed with all this capital, their trajectory is incredibly steep. They're aggressively targeting the $1 trillion global satellite market. Skyroot actually expects 70 to 80% of their business to come from international customers who desperately need dedicated, precise, and highly responsive launch services instead of just waiting to piggyback on larger, slower rockets. Plus, they're already deep into developing Vikram-2 for heavier payloads. But the most exciting part is what happens next. As Skyroot officially pivots toward developing larger reusable vehicles to drive those launch costs down even further, you have to ask yourself, will India's private space sector become the next global monopoly, or will they trigger a massive price war that truly makes space accessible to everyone? The launch of Vikram-1 proves one thing for sure. The sky is no longer the limit. It's literally just the starting line.